So here they had mentioned the auditor as a independent person. He's an independent professional in terms of organization, transparency of the records or the statements, and he's going to ensure the shareholder saying that whatever the financial statement that is being released by this organization, it is true and fair. Appointment at annual general meeting. Appointment at annual general meeting is a meeting of shareholders. Annually it is being conducted. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to one and all. I am Mr. Hemant Kumar from the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Aid College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. In today's session, we are going with the subject Company Law and Practice, that is for second semester BBA students. This is session 3 of Unit 3. It's all about company administration. In today's session, we are going with a very important topic. It's about auditor. Who is the auditor? What is the duties of an auditor? What is the responsibilities of an auditor? Okay, so this is the agenda of today's session. Okay, so here it is one of the important topic in the exam point of view, and in the same way for your career, for your exam, or for your personal life also, this auditor is very important. Okay, so if you keep completely focused on this topic, it is going to benefit you people for your future. Okay, so here you get to know what exactly the auditor is, what is the function of an auditor, how exactly the auditor will be selected for the company. Okay, what is the eligibility criteria to become an auditor? These are the things that we are going through in today's session. Okay, so as we know, we are discussing about the auditor, that is the auditor of the company. Okay, so this is the agenda of today's session. We are going with appointment process of an auditor. So if I want to select an auditor, what is the exact protocol that I'm going with for the selection of an auditor? Okay, so it's all about appointment process of an auditor. Duties of an auditor. Okay, so what are the duties? What is the role of an auditor in terms of organization? Okay, what are the duties and also the responsibilities of the auditor? See, please don't get confused, dear students. So for your final exam, one question that is regarding the auditor, that is mandatory. Okay, either they may ask for 10 marks or they may ask for 15 marks. But okay, so if they ask you the duties of an auditor or responsibility of an auditor, answer is one and the same. Please don't get confused, dear students. Okay, so duty of the auditor is same, responsibility of the auditor is same. Say what happened, what is my duty? Okay, so to teach a student, being a teacher, I want to teach a student. That is my duty. Okay, it is my responsibility to make student understand this or no. In the same way, here, what exactly the auditor is going to do? Here, responsibility is how effectively he is going to do. Okay, so that is all about today's session. Going with the introduction part about the auditor, who exactly the auditor is. An auditor is an independent professional. Okay, see, he is a professional. Okay, so it is a kind of a profession. So here they had mentioned the auditor as a independent person. He's an independent professional in terms of organization. He is independent enough. He have all the duties, responsibilities and right towards the organization, towards the financial statements. Okay, so without interruption or the interference of any member of organization. Okay, no one have a right to interrupt in the matter of a chartered accountant, that is the auditor of the organization. They cannot approach the auditor of the organization to manipulate the data. Okay, so he do not have anybody to interrupt in his matter and say this is right and this is wrong. Okay, he is independent enough to take any kind of decision. He is independent enough to give his review. Okay, his honest review about the financial statement of the organization. Okay, so he is a independent person appointed to examine, verify and company's financial records and statements. So what exactly he is going to do? Why he is independent means for examining the financial records and the financial statements of the organization, whether it is a balance sheet, okay, so whether it is a profit and loss account, okay, so cash flow statement, fund flow statement, so all the things he have a complete authority to verify or cross check. Their main role is to check whether the accounts present a true and fair view of the company's financial position. Okay, so whether the accounts that is been maintained by the organization, is it manipulated? Is there any defects? If there is any problem, if there is any kind of a threat that is present in the accounts, whether they had given the true and fair value of the statements. Okay, so he is the one who is going to cross verify all the things. Followed by an auditor reviews books of accounts. Okay, so he have a complete responsibility to review the books of account. Okay, so whether they had maintained the true and fair value, whether they had managed the protocol that has been mentioned in the Companies Act 2013. So these are the things that he is going to take care of. Vouchers. Okay, so he's going to compare the voucher, cross verify the voucher, and the supporting documents that is required for the auditing. Ensures compliance with accounting standards and Companies Act 2013. Whether the financial statements, whether the book of accounts, whether the financial reports are following Companies Act 2013, whether it is going to follow the Indian accounting standards, okay, so or whether it is going to follow IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards, okay, so he is the one who is going to look over these all activities. They help detect errors, fraud, and misstatements. Okay, so if there is any kind of the error that he may notice in terms of financial statements, in terms of financial records, in terms of balance sheet, in terms of any kind of the accounts, okay, so if there is any kind of errors, he have a complete authority to question it and also to resolve it. If there is any kind of a fraudulent thing that is present in the financial statement, he is the one who is going to resolve it, and also misstatement that is present in the financial records or the book of accounts. So if a book of account is not as per the accounting standards, whether it is Indian accounting standard or International Financial Reporting Standards, okay, is the one who is going to bring it up. After examination, the auditor submits an audit report to the shareholders. Okay, so he is the one who can safeguard the rights of our shareholders. He is the one who is going to uphold the rights of the shareholders, because he is the one who is going to cross verify all the financial statements, financial records, a book of accounts. Okay, so that is very transparent in terms of organization. Okay, so what happened most of the times, okay, so if a organization is going to disclose the financial statement saying that my company made a profit of 10,000 crores, automatically what happened, all the shareholders will purchase that share of that particular company. Then so what happens, the share value of the company will get rise. They may manipulate the accounts when it comes in terms of financial statements. So no, so that lead for the destruction. So it should not happen. He is the one who is going to safeguard the people. By doing so, an auditor enhance transparency. He is the one who is going to enhance the transparency of the financial statements, credibility and trust in the company's financial information. Okay, so he is going to manage the credibility, trust of the people towards the company. Okay, just I am going to give the example. Okay, so how exactly the auditor is going to work. Okay, so say for example, being an investor, I'm a shareholder of any XYZ company. Okay, so being an investor, what exactly I'm going to expect from the company is the performance of the company, the profits of the company, because if a company make a profit, it is going to issue the dividend to me. If the company won't make a profit, so I cannot expect dividend. So that is a mindset of the people. What exactly the people want is they want a very good dividend, very good percentage of dividend. Okay, so how exactly the people are going to take the investment decision? Based on the profitability of the organization. If the organization disclose the financial statements in a very transparent way, it is beneficial for the investor. By looking at the statement, by looking at the profit of the organization, they can easily invest on the company and make the profit. But what if the company people manipulate the complete financial statement, manipulate the complete accounts? What happened? So it may lead for the misguiding the shareholder, saying that my company had made an abnormal profit of 10 crore rupee. Based on that profit, I'm going to invest the money. There is no profit that is in existence actually. Say what happens? The share value, all the people keep on purchasing the shares of the company. The share value will go up. As soon as the share value go up, they get to know whatever the financial statement that they had released, it is fake. It is not true. Okay. So after that, suddenly the share value will come down. So how exactly these all things happen? Okay, so to avoid this all conflict, okay, so this kind of thing is required. Okay, so auditor is very important when it comes in terms of a organization. Okay, so appointment process of an auditor. So how exactly we are going to appoint the auditor of my organization? Okay, so there is a eligibility criteria according to the articles of the association, according to Companies Act 2013. Okay, so we need to follow that criteria. When it comes in terms of eligibility criteria, according to Companies Act 2013. Okay, so he or she should be a member of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, ICAI. Okay, so it is going to ensure that they had qualified the exam of CA. Okay, so they are professional chartered accountants. Okay, so that is eligibility criteria to become a chartered accountant of any of the organization or a company. First thing. Second criteria is he or she should not be disqualified by law under section 141. According to Companies Act 141, okay, he or she should not be disqualified by law. Whether the law may disqualified her or him as a insolvent, whether the law had disqualified her or him as a criminal. Okay, so this all things should not be there. So then he or she is eligible to become a auditor of the organization. That is the eligibility criteria. So next step is board resolution. When it comes in terms of a board resolution, okay, a formal meeting of a board of director will be conducted. Okay, so here the agenda of the session is, okay, so whether can I appoint Mr. A as a auditor or no? Okay, so on what basis that I am going to appoint Mr. A as an auditor, they are going to discuss in the meeting the board of directors. Okay, so the first one is he is qualified. Okay, so being a member of an Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, he is a chartered accountant professionally. Okay, he is eligible, and also he is not under any offense. He is not disqualified by law. Okay, so we can take him as a director. And in the same way, according to articles of the association, it is going to say that he must be having experience of minimum of 5 years to be an auditor of my organization. There is eligibility criteria under articles of the association also. There are certain criteria that is being made by the company itself. Okay, so if he is eligible under this also, okay, so they are finally going to decide him as a auditor of the organization. Here, in the second stage, please don't get confused, dear students. So a company had established the first auditor of the organization. The first auditor of the organization will be selected by board of directors. I repeat, first auditor of the organization will be selected by board of directors, but second auditor and whatever the auditor come in future, okay, auditors come in future will be selected by the shareholders. Okay, means will be decided in the shareholder meeting. Okay, so what exactly I'm telling is, okay, so whether it is a first auditor or a second auditor, okay, here firstly the board of directors are going to decide whether we can consider him or not. So if they say that we can consider him as auditor of my organization, okay, they also go with the background verification, in which firm he was working, is there any problem, if there is any kind of wrong kind of thing that he had involved in. Okay, all the background verification is going to happen in the board of directors meeting. Okay, so after all the verification, they get to know he is frank, honest, he is true enough to manage the this thing of my organization. Only then they are going with the appointment at annual general meeting. Appointment at annual general meeting is a meeting of shareholders. Annually it is being conducted. Okay, say what happened when, whether it is a second auditor or a third auditor. Okay, so that auditor will be selected in annual general meeting, but the first auditor will be selected in board of directors meeting. Okay, let me say I am selecting third director. Let me say third director is. Okay, so as soon as we get to know Mr. A can become a third director of my organization, okay, in board of directors meeting they are going to already decide, so we can consider him as a chartered accountant of my organization, that is auditor of my organization. And also they are going to discuss in the annual general meeting of also. Okay, so the shareholders meeting, they are going to disclose, we are going to consider this person as a chartered accountant, and his remuneration also been fixed by the shareholders itself. Okay, so these are all the things that will be discussed, and also these shareholders should give the approval saying that we are okay with Mr. A. If he become the auditor of my organization, there is no objection from my end. They must to give the honest concern towards the auditor of the organization. Okay, after their approval, okay, so a written consent and certificate. Okay, so say what happened. So after they finally decide as a auditor of the organization in the annual general meeting as well as a board of directors meeting, they are going to consider a written consent from the end of the chartered accountant to join the organization, and all the documents that is required for the organization from his end for the verification purpose, and also the certification will get happen. Okay, so after this all documentation and verification, okay, so next thing is the remuneration criteria that we can discuss. Okay, before the remuneration, so if there is any kind of a casual vacancy means, for example, from past 10 years auditor is working from my organization, so unfortunately he leave my organization for any other reason, I take him from my organization. Okay, another auditor must be replaced in his place within 30 days according to Companies Act 2013. Within 30 days the board of directors have all the authority to replace the auditor of organization, which the shareholders must approve them within 3 months of time. Okay, so 30 days, within 30 days, board of director must bring a new auditor to the organization. Okay, so and also within 3 months, all the shareholders should approve him as a auditor. So this is the criteria. So these are all the things that we need to go with. See, when it comes in terms of a remuneration of auditor of organization, okay, so let me say he's the first auditor, second auditor, third auditor, and fourth auditor of organization. Okay, the first auditor, okay, of the organization will be always selected by board of directors, but that auditor will be approved by shareholders. But second auditor, third auditor, and the fourth auditor will be selected by the shareholders, and also the salary or the remuneration of the auditor will be fixed by the shareholders itself. But here, when it comes in terms of first auditor, selection also can be done by the board of directors, remuneration also can be fixed by the board of directors. So it is all about first auditor and second and third auditor. Please don't get confused. It is about the remuneration criteria. And filing with register of the company is very important, dear students. Filing with ROC. Okay, so if I declare Mr. A as auditor of my organization, it is not at all enough. So I need to officially, okay, so file in terms of ROC, that is register of the company. So as I am appointing Mr. A as a auditor of my organization on date from this date onward. So giving the statement saying that I am going to appoint Mr. A as auditor of my organization from so and so date. So it should be mentioned. So again, the tenure of the auditor, okay, the auditor according to Companies Act 2013, okay, the tenure of the auditor is 5 years. Okay, so the tenure, the duty of the auditor is 5 years in an organization. Okay, so he can be in the same organization 2 times in his lifetime in the same organization. Up to 10 years he can be in a single organization. Okay, after that, okay, the other auditor can be bring to the organization. Okay, so under Companies Act 2013, so that there must be a changes which keep on happening in the, so that is the reason they are going to change the auditor. Duties of an auditor. Okay, so duties of an auditor and the responsibility of the auditor are one and the same. Please don't get confused. Okay, so here coming to the duties of an auditor, duty to examine the books of accounts. So as I explained, he have a complete authority or right to examine the books of accounts. So whether the balance sheet that is being maintained, whether it is true and fair, okay, whether all the accounts is been mentioned as per Companies Act 2013, all the records that is been maintained under the accounting standards, yes or no. Okay, so whether all the things that is been recorded, okay, entries that is been recorded, okay, so is it true and fair, yes or no. So these are the things that he is going to cross verify. Duty to ensure true and fair view. So he have a complete right, responsibility to give his fair and true value to the financial records. Means he is the one who is going to cross verify all the financial records statements. Okay, so whether the transparency is maintained, yes or no. Duty to deduct and report fraud and errors. Okay, so he have also the duty to deduct the fraud or the errors that is been present in the books. Okay, so he have all the rights and responsibilities. So if there is any fraud, if there is any kind of errors, okay, he can rectify the errors. Duty to comply with auditing standards, whether the financial statements are going to follow the auditing standards, whether it is going to follow the Companies Act 2013, whether it is going to follow Ind AS or IFRS. Okay, so is the one who is going to get identify about these all things. Duty to report to a shareholders. He have all the responsibility to report over a shareholders. Okay, because he is the one who is going to check, cross verify, and also to check the authenticity of the records transparency of the records or the statements, and he's going to ensure the shareholder, saying that whatever the financial statement that is being released by this organization, it is true and fair. Okay, no need to worry. Duty to verify compliance with law means whether the financial records are maintaining Companies Act 2013, yes or no. Duty to maintain confidentiality. There are certain confidential things that he must maintain. There are certain secret that he must maintain regarding the company. Okay, it is all about the privacy policy of the organization. He no need to disclose in front of outsiders. Duty to exercise due care and skill. Okay, so he have all the responsibility to take the skillful work and also to care the financial records and the statements, the efficiency and the effectiveness of the records and statements. Responsibilities of an auditor. What is the responsibility of the auditor? So as I explained here, all the points are one and the same. Responsibility to verify the financial records. As I explained here also, you have the authority or responsibility to look over the books of accounts, here financial records. Responsibility to give true and fair opinion, so true and fair view. Responsibility to detect and report fraud. If there is any kind of the manipulation that has been happening, if there is any kind of this kind of thing which is going to happen, so he have all the kind of the rights or the responsibility. Responsibility to follow the auditing standards. So his responsibility is to look about the financial statement, whether it is going to follow auditing standards, yes or no, whether it is going to follow Companies Act 2013 or no. Responsibility to report a shareholder. Okay, so he's the one who is going to highlight the financial statement, financial record to the shareholder, saying that I'm going to identify these all things, saying that whatever the records or the financial statement that is been given by the organization, it is true and fair and it is very transparent. Responsibility to verify the legal compliance. Okay, so he also have the responsibility to verify the legal aspects or the legal compliance, whether it is legal or illegal. If there is any kind of a fraudulent purpose, if financial records does not follow Companies Act 2013, okay, so he have a complete right to uphold it. Okay, so responsibility to maintain the confidentiality. Okay, there are certain confidential things that is present in the organization. There are certain confidentialities. Okay, so he no need to disclose in front of other people, that is outsiders. Responsibility to exercise professional care. So we have a complete responsibility towards the auditing standards, that is a professional care, means he is going to maintain the authenticity in the workforce. In the next session, we are going with the process of appointment of a company secretary. See, these are the two people, okay, who are present in the key managerial personnel, that is a top level management. Okay, we call these both people as the key managerial personnel. One is company secretary and auditor of the organization. Okay, so these both people act as the eyes of the organization. They look towards all the things. Okay, so based on these people are plays a vital role when it comes in terms of organization. Okay, so process of appointment of a company secretary. So as we had gone through the process of the appointment of auditor of organization, here we are going with the process of appointment of a company secretary. Rights of a company secretary. What is the right of a company secretary when it comes in terms of Companies Act 2013? Liabilities of a company secretary, where he is liable and how he is liable. Removal of a company secretary. What is the actual protocol for the removal of a company secretary in the organization? Thank you.